Hi, this is Yossi from Stuff That Works. So I've spent the last few days looking at the DMDD data. This is a relatively small data set, only 180 responses, but it's really, really interesting. There's a whole bunch of different insights that I think we can get from this data. Today I'm only going to focus on a couple of things around treatment effectiveness, but I'll definitely be producing more insights on this data as we go. Before I get to the main insights, I just wanted to do a little bit of an overview of the dataset itself. As I said, there are a total of 180 responses, which break down between the genders. It's roughly 76% boys versus 24% girls. So obviously, it seems like boys are more likely to be affected by DMDD than girls. In terms of the ages of those who responded to our questionnaire, so we see that the average age of a respondent is between around 9 and 10. Interestingly, the main age range really goes from about 6 until 12, 13. After that, it drops off really, really fast. And it'll be interesting to see in the future why that is, why there's this sharp drop off at that age. In terms of treatments, we see that on average, a child with DMDD has tried at least 5, maybe even 6 treatments, which is quite a lot. Treatments here could be anything from a drug to psychotherapy or even an alternative treatment. And actually, we can look at that in more detail and see that in reality, the vast majority of the responses were for either drugs or psychotherapy or both, with very few having tried treatments in other categories. Drilling down a little bit, we also see that there's a really, really wide range of different types of drugs being tried. The most common being antipsychotic drugs as well as stimulants. And then we also see that a reasonable number are trying drugs from these other categories, whether it's SSRI antidepressants or anticonvulsants. So now to the main insight that I wanted to look at, which is actually on the question of treatment effectiveness or treatment success. Basically, within our questionnaire, we asked, people were asked to say which medicines that or which treatments they had tried, and whether any of those treatments had been successful, and if so, list which ones. What that allows us to do is to kind of calculate for each treatment an estimated success rate, i.e., the ratio between the number of times it appears as a successful treatment versus the number of times it appears as having been tried. Now, given many treatments haven't been tried all that much, when looking at treatment effectiveness, we actually have to take into account how much data we have. Because for a treatment which has been tried, perhaps even less than 10 times, then we don't really have all that much information about its success rate, and there's a really wide range of possibilities for what the true success rate for that treatment could be. The chart that you're showing here actually is a reflection of that. The dot kind of shows the estimated success rate for the treatment, and the line kind of shows our uncertainty about the success rate. The wider the line, the less we really know about the success rate, and then we've ranked the treatments based on both the estimated success rate and how certain we are about that. What you can see is that surfaces up to the top of the list a couple of treatments that might not be the most prescribed in our data set, but certainly seem to have the highest success rates, those being trileptal, which is an anticonvulsant, and clonidine, which is actually a blood pressure medication. We can also rank these in the opposite way and look at those which seem to have clearly lower success rates than the rest of the group. And what we see topping the list there is the drug Adderall, which is a stimulant often prescribed for ADHD, as well as, interestingly enough, psychotherapy, which appears at the top of the list of unsuccessful. Interesting to see whether that's a real thing, or whether that's maybe to do with the way that people assess success of the treatment, and how that might bias against something like psychotherapy. Um, what I've also done here is actually broken it down, looking specifically at drugs and actually families of drugs, and that shows that actually, again, if we're looking at the top most successful drugs, then once again it's not just clonidine, but actually anticonvulsants in general appear to have the highest success rate in our data, as well as, again, this agonist, the blood pressure medication clonidine. And then at the bottom of the list, something really interesting that we see is that actually it's the most prescribed medications, antipsychotics and stimulants, that appear to have the lower successful treatment rates. And one of the things that we'd love to discuss on the forum is actually why that is, which, if you've got access to the forum, you can do by actually clicking reply here and starting to add your comments to these conversations. So that's it from me. Thanks for listening, and I'm looking forward to continuing our discussions on the forum.